Alright everybody, welcome in. This is going to be game number 1 in this 2v2 tournament hosted by Aureil Stormgate. And this match also featuring Aureil Stormgate. However, this player in the blue vanguard, this is jayxp123. And his partner, ally in this 2v2 battle is you. I bet you didn't know that, but here you are. You're playing. You're playing, so good luck to you and jayxp. And their opponents in the warm colors today. In the orange infernal, this is snoxtar. And his celestial partner, where are you, buddy? Oh, his arc ship floated over to help his partner with that silly mining trick. This is Aureil Stormgate. Oh, I can zoom at that. There we go. There we go. And yeah, check out this really cool mining trick here, which is that when you float your arc ship over the mine of your ally, being a vanguard or an infernal player, they can return to your arc ship instead of having to walk all the way back to the shrine. And what that means is they have a much shorter travel length, which means you don't need as many workers here. You actually only need 6, but he doesn't have them efficiently set up yet. He wants 2 on this node and 2 on that node, and then only 1 each on the middle nodes. But that means you can get as fast mining as you can with way less workers. Just a super cool little trick that you can get a little synergy if you're playing with a celestial partner in 2v2. And this is one of the reasons why I really like team games, both in Stormgate and other RTS, is that it allows for synergies between units that don't normally exist in normal 1v1 matches, where you can use cross-faction synergies, and that leads to lots of interesting combinations of units that can be kind of imbalanced, because let's be honest, this game, I mean, it's barely balanced around 1v1, but it is balanced around 1v1. It's not, they don't use 2v2 balance to make changes, at least not yet. They might in the future. And that means there might be some composition you can make between, say, an Infernal and Celestial faction that might be super, you know, broken versus Vanguards or something like that. And that's just not going to get patched out because 2v2 is not the focus of the balance. And for me, that makes things a little bit more chaotic, a little more volatile, a little bit more fun, as long as you're not, you know, getting super sweaty on the ladder trying to rank up in 2v2s or something. You can have a lot of fun by finding these sort of OP builds. And right now, let's see, we do see units coming across the map. I have been doing enough chitter-chattering. And this is Snoxtar and Aureil coming with a little bit of a push here. Fairly early push, although I wouldn't necessarily call it a rush. There are sabers with it, which is why it's not really a rush, unless you want to call this maybe a saber rush. But already the Sovereign's Watch that you fired off actually helped push these back for now. There are some Seraphim up above, which aren't great against the Gaunts, but if the Gaunts can be taken out, they can be pretty good against the rest of these units. And for the moment, they're trying to focus the Sabers, while the Gaunts are doing their best to try and get them, but there's just so many Lancers here, and the Lancers now have got on top of the Sabers. 1 Saber down, Hexen down, all the Gaunts removed. Sorry, a few Gaunts coming in on reinforcement, but they can't deal with this Bioforce. And it looks like it might be a composition win here for jayxp and you, as these Seraphims actually turn out to be very helpful. The Lancers and the Bio, at least, have been able to focus the Gaunts down, and that has left Snoxtar and Aureil with absolutely nothing to deal with the Seraphim. Seraphim here, kind of like ugly little banshees. That's what I think of them as. They don't really do much in most compositions, but their one saving grace is they are flying units that shoot down at the ground. And if you are a ground unit that does not shoot up at the air, then you are exactly the units the Seraphim want to get. And that was most of the composition besides the Gaunts that we saw in that early push. It was Brutes, Sabers, Argents. Oh, were there Argents? I don't remember if there were Argents. And for the record, Argents do shoot up, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Alright, so that early push didn't work out very well for Aureil and snoxtar. And so they've retreated back to creeping, and that means that JXP and you can also do creeping. And look at this, it's an Archangel out of you. There's some cool strats going down here. JXP is definitely one who has fun strats. Often a little bit cheesy if you ask me, but they usually are pretty fun. And I can imagine these two cooking up some fun builds and fun comps. Like this Seraphim comp is certainly interesting and unique. Here, I'm looking for the Seraphim. Where are they? They're over here. This is them exploiting their cool ability, which is they're basically anti-creep units. They take way less damage to creeps and they deal more damage to creeps. Here we go. There might be a little bit of an engage as we see the Bioforce of Jay trying to poke in there, but he finds the entire force of Aureil and snoxtar here, which is a little hard to deal with. These Archangels trying to find something to do. There's no air units for them to punch. Here's some air units now popping out of Aureil, which are these scythes. There are also some Shadow Flyers now. As an Archangel, you don't want to punch a Shadow Flyer. So Aureil and snoxtar here recovering a little bit by not overcommitting in that early push. They did lose a lot of units, but now committing to more eco a little bit, are able to rebuild. Snoxtar still kind of behind in supply. I wonder what that's about. Like significantly behind. Maybe he's waiting for Sprigs. Maybe. Oh, using Evolution Catalyst in the reverse way, which is to bring the creeps back so that you can fight them again and get that income again. Usually the idea. And remember, every time you do that, you rank up so that the creeps become harder to kill, but they also generate more income. And there we go, we see it being used again. So again, these type of plays to me seem maybe practiced or pre-planned. I mean, that could certainly be just improvised, but they sort of sat there for a couple rounds and reclaimed that. I think it also increases the income you get from it, and now we see Aureil stealing this camp back. After they did that, that means he might be gaining a lot more income from it. This force just keeps growing for you and Jay. Still with the supply lead. Now with the supply lead over Aureil too. This is a very interesting story of this match. Aureil is an incredibly strong economic and macro player. Perhaps one of the strongest out there. And to see him behind in supply. Okay, I guess he's matched in supply, but to see him not ahead is bizarre. It's strange. It's not normal. Not normal. But we are getting engaged here. Jay choosing to try and get on top of this ramp to maybe get a little bit of a better positioning, but now pushing down the ramp, and his unit's staying in a bit of a ball, which means that Aureil and snoxtar's units are in a nice concave. A lot of those sabers getting some good hits, but it does look like the Archangels who use their Meteor Strike. Look at that, it shields up on an Archangel. I love the way that you and Jay are playing together to get synergy between their units. And it turns out that, yeah, they just had enough here. Remember, they were coming into this with significantly more supply. The Wraithstone on the high ground is actually doing a ton here to help Aureil and Snoxtar just barely hold there. But I think Jay and you did a good job to not overcommit up that ramp, so they have preserved their supply lead. They didn't just like let their units melt. Again, that Wraithstone super clutch, slowing down units, also doing damage over time. Look how many bodies there are there. My old Warcraft 3 instincts is like, I wish I had some ghouls there to just chomp, 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 chomp. Chomp, 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 chomp. I guess that's partially me saying, I wish there was some kind of cool corpse mechanic in Stormgate. I think there is one in co-op, maybe. I don't play a lot of co-op. But I think Malak or one of the heroes has some kind of like, you summon a slime or something from the corpses. But Warcraft 3 had all those cool little corpse mechanics like necros and I think there are like little wands of necromancy where you could summon little scalies and the ghouls could eat them, and there was just lots of things that happened with the corpses, and there's room for that in this game. Probably from the Infernal faction. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, this is an interesting engage. Some of these units trying to engage up the ramp into those sabers, then they're just getting melted. But there is, what, a dragon up above with some shadow flyers. And that's because there's not a lot of anti-air here other than the exos. Now, exos can be pretty good, and there's a lot of them. This is an awkward engage here for both parties, if you ask me. It feels like it's maybe in the advantage of Aureil and Snoxtar. Just because those sabers on the low ground can get some nice shots. We are hearing his exos kind of pop here. Pop, pop. And these units trying to system shock away, but they're stuck behind the slow-moving sabers, so they're just quickly running into these slow-moving units. And from that little bit of harass, and there's been like a little bit of pick-off of units from jayxp and you that whittled them down a bit. Here's another kind of awkward engage. The sabers are up in the front, and Nightfall Infestation going down on a good ball of exos, but those exos trying to move out of the way. Jay having some really good game sense there, being like, let me get those infested units out. They're not immediately taking the damage, say the Hellborn damage. And look at this, that battle again coming out in the favor of you and jayxp, at least so far, that they're pushing into this matrix of static defenses. They are kind of just on a move right now, which with their overwhelming sort of advantage here, they kind of can. But that means that those sabers on the high ground there were able to get a lot of extra shots in. But Jay did micro his units up to take them out. And now we're just seeing the base kind of melt a bit. Reinforcements are trying to run in. But that's going to be GG. Alright, here we are. We're back in it. This is game number 2. And here we are. What's this one? Dust Devil. And in the blue now is jayxp. With his teal buddy, you. And look at them. They know the mining trick too. Except they do it a little bit different. Does this really work? This should not work. There are 2 prisms mining here and 4 bobs. Allow me to complain. That's a cool trick. That is certainly oh, they're doing it too. Everybody knows the trick. Well, I guess it's not exactly unfair if both sides are doing it. But that does allow you to overmine the mine, I think. So, kinda cool. Kinda cool. Learning something every day. And again, I did mention this in an earlier game, but I really love the cool synergies you can get between factions once you're in a team game. Things that just don't exist in a 1v1 match. And one of those synergies, you can do some team creeping. But in this case, you can also get run up on by your buddies, or by your opponents, I should say. And this is creep jacking, full on. Let me jack those creeps. I didn't even notice there. This is a forward creation chamber here for you. So this looks like it's going to be a really aggressive opening. And look at these Argents and Lancers here. If they can get that Saber, the Saber with its mass acceleration to run out, some Imps turning to fight, low Argents getting taken out, units popping out to battle. This is a kind of a chaotic battle as Lancers are on top of these Hexen and Gaunts. They all go down. There are a few brutes there. There is still the Saber on the high ground, but it's not clear if it's going to be enough. 4 more brutes pop out. They are beefy and tanky. They are going to do well with this front line here. But look, there's a Star Forge here. That's an orange Star Forge. Oh my goodness. There's a power bank here. I thought that was a forward Star Forge, but that's a rail Star Forge. And yeah, now this fort, the push looks like it might be falling back now. There's a Repair-O-Matic here, which is a little confusing because they're just repairing bobs. Jay and you might be in trouble here. This push looks like it's failed, and by push I mean rush or all in. And they've pulled back to fight some creeps. But did they get damage? I don't know if they really were able to do damage that they needed to. Here comes some more Argents. What are you gonna do? Speedy Argents. Oh, they're running home. Okay, they're just focus firing. Doing a little bit of kiting. Got one brute there. And okay, going for the Therium camp here. This might just be while we're here. Might as well take it out. Are they going to continue to push forward? They got 4 Sabers now. No, pulling back. Now, Aureil is on 1 base. Very interesting, I guess. 1 base Saber. And Fiends on top of the Bobs. Bobs, of course, being invincible, will never die to that. But yeah, this base is gonna go down. And I think this is just the consequences of what we already saw, which was that early rush failed, and that's just caused Jay and you to be a little behind. Although they are, it looks like, trying to go for one more all in here, and they take the upper path to make it harder to see. Immediately Snoxtar notices this and pulls his units back. A mag is popped out, and look at this. What a huge flank. Hold position on the brutes on the ramp. Wow. Amazing clutch play from Snoxtar there to trap all these Lancers up on the high ground. They're just gone. They're just gone. And now it's Argus being chased down by Sabers, and wow. Amazingly well defended there. pretty much taking out this final push for free. And yeah, chasing them down. Look at this, Jay with some good production, able to pump out another force. But still, the supplies here tell the tale. There's just an advantage for Snoxtar and Aureil. And it doesn't look like you and jayxp are going to be able to hold that back. Especially since they're fighting in the full-on open here. There's no SimCity, there's no ramp. This base just is easy peasy taken. And that pushes these two players back up onto their original two bases, which from an oh, look at that. This is something we've been seeing more and more recently, and if you are wondering why, this is an Ascension Matrix. When you surge an Ascension Matrix, it increases the DPS of nearby units. So these sabers are going to get a huge boost. Let's see if they'll be within range. It's not clear they will be. There we go. We see the boost there from the Ascension Matrix. They're getting an extra 12 damage just from being near that Ascension Matrix while it surged. We see it's unsurged now just to get the power back. Oh, but they pulled back. I didn't see why. Was there a counter? Everyone went home. Not sure what you know, generated that choice. Here's some Bobs wishing they could get to work. Yeah, but Snoxtar has basically more supply than the whole blue and teal team. So the advantage, you know, here he is. He's just going to walk in here. It's all sabers for Aureil. Gee, I wonder what unit is a bit OP in the Celestial kit right now. Maybe someone should investigate that. Considering in pretty much every one of these 2v2 matches that we've seen a Celestial player, pretty much, not all of them, but pretty much, the Celestial player has just gone Saber. In some cases, pure Saber. Although Saber Argent is also a good mix, and that's what we're seeing here from you. And what is going on? We are in full base race. The race is on. Now, if I can make some initial predictions here, yeah, this is in favor of Snoxtar and Aureil. And jayxp and you, GG. We'll be going into game number 3. Alrighty, here we are back at it in game number 3 between these two 2v2 teams. So this is going to be jayxp123 in the blue Vanguard. And his partner in the teal, playing the Celestial faction, is you. And I should mention that they have a team name. Their team name is URXP. They're going to level up after defeating you. And their opponent in the warm colors, playing the red Infernal, is Snoxtar. Is Hexen teleporting home. And his partner and friend, playing the orange Celestial, is Aureil. And we will see who's going to come out victorious in this game number 3, and who will go on to the winner's final in this 2v2 tournament. I think if we were basing this off of 1v1 ladder ranks, we're going to base our prediction on this. There might be some advantage for Snoxtar and Aureil, who I think are perhaps better 1v1 players than jayxp and you. I say perhaps because they're all at the top of the ladder, and I'm sure they play each other a lot, and they all likely take games off each other a lot as well. But with that said, I think that if I were to rate these players based on their ability to work well in a team match, I do think that JXP and you, I see them just by the way they practice 1v1 with others and the way they share skills and they share talent. They like to show off their builds. I just think that they may have put more energy before the tournament into practicing together and planning out some builds and planning out some strategies. And that might be enough for them to get a little bit of an edge. And we saw that in the first game where they were victorious, where they were playing really well together with some nice synergies that helped them, I think, be victorious in that game. Maybe we'll see that again this game. So far it looks like a lot of Lancers coming out of Jay, and we see that here with a lot of barracks. I was like, look, he's got a lot of barracks and he's got a Legion Hall, but wait, that doesn't make any sense. But there is a Legion Hall hiding right in there, and it's Seraphim again. So it looks like these two are going back to the build that they made in the first match that was successful, which was the Seraphim and the Archangels coming out of you. We'll see if that leads to victory again here in the third game. Here come some Fiends. They're mostly scouties. They scout Seraphim, and they're like, yikes, I can't do anything about that, so they just run by. They find a power bank. There's a Morphcore there. There's Seraphim here. Ay, 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 we're dead. We're dead. Run for it. What's over here? I don't know. They're communicating with each other, but we can't see their in-game chat. If they're team chatting to each other, we cannot see it. Interesting. I noticed that when I cast team games from a replay, you can read the team chat in the replay. But while I'm in observer mode right now, I cannot. Which maybe is good. Now that I think about it, it might actually be valuable to be able to turn off player chat in observer mode or in when observing a game, when watching a replay. That way, if there is any conversation in the game that might be, you don't really want to broadcast it, you could turn that off. Sometimes there's bad manners and stuff like that, and I don't always like to have those in my games. In fact, if I get sent a replay, even if it's a good replay and it's got some bad manner chitter chat in it, I'll sometimes not even cast it. That's just because I have a bit of a professional lean in my regular life, and I really find bad manners distasteful. Here's a huge battle going on here. Now look at this. Snoxtar with some pretty good positioning, managing to get Jay's units out of position. But did you see that Purify there from you? That, of course, none of Jay's units have energy, but that is to cleanse the infest from them all as they were running away. Which, again, cool synergies like that between the players show that these players, in my mind, have spent time practicing together to figure out what those synergies are. Now, what's going on here? They were chasing the Seraphim around, I think it was, and that allowed this Bioforce to get back in there and take out the collection array. Now, the army here looks pretty dangerous. There's, look at all this size. There's Spriggans, there's Shadow Flyers. Nothing in the air is gonna do very well here, but of course this is just a big Bioforce. Moving into the trees here. I kind of like the new, like, invisible effect that you see on them. Like, what? Okay, there's another Archangel. It's Archangels that have been doing the harass here. I've been trying to figure out, like, where are U's units? Because we see jayxp's bio ball moving around. Here comes some size. They're going to do some harass, it looks like. What are they looking for? Prisms? Well, these prisms aren't even mining anymore. Look at this, 7 minutes in. And the mine is mined out? Ridiculous. That's what that over mining gets you, I guess. But where are the bobs here? Did they... There's no bobs. Oh, oh? Oh, they must have got rallied up here for safety. And yeah, these sides trying to do damage, but it looks like so far they haven't really been able to find much. I mean, they found some sides and stuff that were not mining. But maybe that's testament to you and jayxp's economy being a little bit in a rough position right now. The sides have... Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much damage they've done here. Here goes another collection array, so this is actually worth it. And that could be enough damage here to maybe put J and U back on their heels a bit. We are seeing a supply advantage now for Aureil and snoxtar. And now we got a battle over the Shadow Demons. Snoxtar not even really concerned. He does pull back though instead of fighting into this. Scan going down over here to see if there's a trap being laid. And in fact, it's the other way around. This is a trap being laid for Jay's units. Snoxtar with a huge Nightfall infestation catching a lot of those Lancers, and a lot of those Lancers go down. More going down now. And now this is a better position to fight for jayxp. He had a nice concave on the high ground, clearing out a lot of brutes. Again, what is you up to? Has it been Archangel harass in the background that I've just been missing? Or has you been trying to deal with these sides? There are, yeah, okay, Vectors, Argent. Okay, the sides find the Arc Fortress. Bob's trying to repair it. Vector's frantically trying to get in position, but the size managed to take it out. That's bad news for Team J and U, Team URXP. Oh my goodness. Oh, Dragoons. They're back. Don't tell anyone that the pathing has still got some issues. And that pathing issue could be a problem if those units can't regroup. Oh, it looks like they did. And now Jay is going to be a little overextended here. No, Jay. He tries to system shock through, but huge body blocks on the ramp. And this is a melted Bioforce. Sabers, Brutes, Spriggans, Gaunts, just melting them, turning them into a ton of Fiends. And now there are a couple hundred supply lead. I've never said that before, I don't think. And yeah, we are about to watch as J and U kind of melt away in the face of this overwhelming force. Looks like they're aiming for over here. Nice when they tell me where they're going. Look at this. It says 13 workers there, but yeah, no, there are 28 workers. And where you going, Bobs? Where you going? Oh no. Oh, yikes. Saw like 12 Bobs all explode at once there. That was rough. And for someone who says Bobs are invincible all the time, those Bobs sure melted really quick there. Really quick. What do you mean go back here? Let's go get the siege tank. Oh, geez, you guys. You just A move. Click the base. You press A. You click the base. and you're good. Go get a copy. Boom, nightfall. But a system shock. Oh, nice clutch. I love learning little things like this. Of course, system shock, like Purify, it will cleanse you of the infest and also of the slow. So, JXP super quick on that system shock. Still showing us, even when low on supply here, that he's got the control, he's got the game knowledge. And I don't think that's going to save him here, but he's still doing the best he can with his micro, with his another system shock going down. But there's just so much here. Can't kite that far away because now these units are just going to be in your base. Melting the base. Meanwhile, the sabers over here from Aureil are also melting the base. And that is GG from URXP.